Hi guys, Coach Ryan here, your personal trainer and strength coach here at Allegro. What we're going to be going over here on your Toolkit Tuesday is one basic stabilization technique that you can apply to any sort of squat movement, whether it's squats, single leg squats, deadlifts, or the downward movement of any squat jump. And it's a lot more basic than you think. As a movement coach, a strength coach, sometimes I analyze movement and I look from the ground up to see where we have issues. More often than not, a lot of people struggle with what we call rooting from the feet up. Now rooting, just like you might imagine, a tree has to have very stable roots in order to withstand big forces, winds, all that sort of stuff. So as we're squatting, we need to have a very stable base before we move our legs and our knees and our hips. And that base is actually the muscles on the bottom of our feet. So what I'm going to show you is a basic test to see if you have good rooting through your feet. And this test is best done barefoot. So I'm going to take my shoes off because I don't want to cheat. And you can do this at home, maybe not at your office, especially if you have smelly shoes or feet. So you're going to take your regular squat stance, whether that's more narrow or more wide. And all I want you to do is do a simple squat for me. So squat, full range of motion. And what I want you to look for is a very stable foot. So a big pet peeve of me when I teach classes is what I call twinkle toe squats. When people move their feet and they're dancing because coach tells them sit in your heels. It's not a bad thing, but if you can move your foot completely off the floor while keeping your heels in contact, that means we're not very stable and rooted. So what I want you to try to do now that you've done that one squat is imagine like you can grab onto the floor, not just with your toes, but with the knuckles of your feet. And you're trying to pull those muscles towards your heels. So now, again, try to do a full range squat, bending knees as low as you can, and notice how different that feels. Now, do another squat, and really try to squeeze your glutes and drive your knees out. Don't let those feet move, like so. Keep them stiff and rooted. So you might notice that it's a little more difficult to keep those muscles engaged, but at the same time, you might notice your glutes fire a little bit better, and that's what we find. If we have a very stable surface from the bottom of our foot, our ankles can move better, which allows our glutes to function better. And as we get into the next several weeks of these Toolkit Tuesdays, we're going to teach you how to fire the glutes better, how to brace the core better, but all that has to start from a very stable foundation. So if you did really struggle with that squat exercise, you're going to try this to help build some stability in the foot. So again, you're going to have a flat foot, you're going to grab onto the floor just like usual, and without holding on to anything, just hold balance. So try and hold that balance for 30 seconds, keeping a soft bend in the knee. If you can do that, you want a little bit more of a challenge, you're going to try what's called a back scale or a single leg deadlift. So your leg goes back, staying square through the hips, focus on one point through your vision, and then stand up. Try it on both feet to see if you have any discrepancies or if it's tougher to balance on one side or the other. And if you have one side that's very difficult to balance on, just work on that and slowly build over time. So if you're taking body pump circuits or even boxing, try to apply that rooting technique, grab the floor with your feet before squatting, and see the difference. We'll see you next week. Have a good time.